This is a quick little overview of the Traxxas Jato 3.3. It's not a full review because I've only had it a few weeks, but it's just a kind of a general thoughts and look at the newest model. I took the stickers off the body just because I know what it is and it looks nice. I like this color. I think it's the best in my opinion, the blend. And also I carved out this here and I made it, folded it over, create a little bit of a low pressure zone. And I might take out the whole front windscreen for better cooling eventually, but not at this point. I did a few upgrades out of the box, like the front bumper here, the RPM front bumper. Once you put this in, you can't utilize the sway bars anymore, which is a little bit unfortunate, but not a big deal. I upgraded the servos. This is a 148 ounce for 30 bucks, and then I can't remember, some Savix one for another 30 bucks, and the steering servo over these. I mean, these two aren't bad, and I'll use them as backups. They still work fine. I mean, for $30 a servo, upgrade-wise, there's still a noticeable difference, but it's not major and it's not necessarily essential. And also, I have new springs on the way in the rear, and I changed the springs in the front. Stock is the green here, and I went to a gold, which is a little bit stiffer. Also, I drained all the fluid for all four shocks and put in this 80 weight. I think 30 weight is stock, just to stiffen it up, because I primarily use it on road. Another thing I got here on YouTube, some kid, I think RC Nitro kid, he recommended getting new glow plug wires. I mean, they're really cheap. It's good to have these backup, because I mean, after a while, if you're pulling this in and out a lot to put in after run oil after you ran it, I had these scratches. I flipped it once while I was breaking in. But after you pull this in and out a few times, I mean, it wears away this heat shrink, especially if you use pliers with teeth. After a while, it just eats it. I mean, it still works fine, but something to think about. And the glow plug, I'm on the second glow plug that Traxxas provided. After you do a nice break-in, it's really smart to replace the glow plug because it's really fouled out if you did it correctly, because you should be running really rich. And whenever I do replace them, I'm going to be using these here. It's Dynamite glow plugs. Read a lot of good things about these. And also the receiver pack, I'm going to be using that. Unfortunately, my charger doesn't have an adapter for this, so I haven't been able to use it yet. But overall, I mean, if you think about it philosophically, I mean, this Jato has been out for, like, I don't know, 8 years or something, maybe more. And the overall packaging is very refined, everything that you get for the money. And along with that, I mean, it's been around a long time, so there's parts are really easy to find. It's really easy to figure out what's wrong when something does go wrong. And on top of that, if you think about Traxxas in general, they're in nitro. Their Revo, it's basically what made Traxxas really, in my opinion. Their monster truck uses this exact same engine. So it has the exact same engine in an RC car that's probably twice the weight and a lot more drivetrain loss because it's four-wheel drive. This is only rear-wheel drive, and the tire's a lot smaller and there's less going on. So, I mean, if you think about it in terms of functionality, I think this is a good buy. I mean, really, it's primarily for on-road use. I mean, it can do some light bashing, jumping, and dirt, but I don't really think it's designed for that, in my opinion. But overall, I mean, it's a great buy. A lot of nice upgrades you can do, a lot of little things you can do like this, where I move the suspension in. I mean, if you think about in terms of a competitive RC car, like 8 scale or a 10 scale buggy or truggy or something, I mean, the compound isn't very good, but I mean, you can replace it easily. And you have all the major, functionality, tuning, and upgrade aspects, like spur gears. You can upgrade the brake discs, the servos, and all that. I'm going to be changing this eventually. I had one from Mugen Sinky, but it didn't fit with the body on, so I'm going to be replacing that. And you can even here, you can adjust the gear ratio when it shifts. It hasn't shifted yet in the second gear mine because I've only had it a few weeks. Only have about 1.5 quarts through it. Most of that was the braking anyway. Once I get about half a gallon, it should be shifting in second gear. And there, I mean, there's about, say, 12, 13 tanks a quart. And I might be replacing the pipe eventually. I have a lot more upgrades on the way. I might be doing an upgrade video later on. But for the general thoughts and overview, I mean, it's March 2016 right now. And I just bought this buggy in the middle of February. So, I mean, it's still a great buy today, even though it's pretty old. a lot of RC cars that are old that are still being for sale today for a reason. And I really recommend it. It's a lot of fun.